Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of Dark Souls PvP and another Battle of the Uploaders Xbox Edition. Alright, so this time I am fighting against the Green Grunt with a few X's in the name, also known as Irishman N7. Now, this video took a lot longer for me to get up than I would have liked. We both were having computer issues with this. I don't exactly know why, but for some reason, I decided that it would be a good idea to upgrade to the newest version of the video editor thing that I use. And for some reason, when I did that, it wouldn't let me import any audio over it. So my commentary just kept getting deleted and not saving for any reason. It just wouldn't work. Now, the issues on his end, his whole video, the fight, it didn't record properly, it didn't save properly, so he ended up losing the whole thing. So he's not going to be uploading his side of the fights, unfortunately. I really would have liked to see a few of them from his end, but oh well. Now, if you do want to see him fighting against me, he's got a video that I didn't record, I didn't upload. It was one recorded with me just getting some practice in after essentially a month of not playing. It was really 2 weeks, but when I did play 2 weeks before, then it was only for a couple of hours, and it really was bad, to say the least. That was my Battle of the Uploaders against DJ Ska 3, for those who aren't familiar. That was after a 2-week break, and then I fought him, and then there was another 2-week break, and then Irishman, he helped me get back into the swing of things, so that was very helpful. Now, as you can see, I'm doing a little bit of weapon switching, and this is when I was first just getting started with it, and since then I've gotten it down a little bit better, a bit more solid than what I've had it in this video, so it's definitely something I've been enjoying, and I will have a video of that coming up very shortly. Actually, now that I've figured out how to get my commentary to work, I have a lot that I've got to do, so I'm going to be recording lots and lots and lots of commentary, so if I sound like I'm sort of losing my mind in the next few videos, it's because I've been recording probably a few hours straight of commentary, and failing at talking all throughout, because that's just what I do. So, this is a really long video. I just noticed it's almost half an hour long. Now, these fights, actually, they were a lot of fun, and for those of you who are familiar with having matches with a friend, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's anyone you know in the game or in real life or anything, just getting together with someone in the game that you know and having some matches with them. For those of you who do that, you probably will know exactly what I'm about to say. Have you ever just done that and then suddenly 2 hours have passed? Like, you just start having some matches and then boom, 2 hours later you're like, whoa, what happened? That's exactly how these matches went for us. We did not expect it. We were having a good time, just sort of talking and joking around while we were fighting, and it was a really good time. And I started to screw around a little bit midway through. I picked up the Abyss Greatsword, and I don't have the stats to wield it properly, so I was kind of just sort of messing around with it in that little clip, but you'll get to see that. I don't know. I decided it would be a good idea to include it because I said, as I have always said since I started doing this, I will include every single fight, even if it's something completely stupid. So, that being said, it's going to be in the video. Now, as far as his channel, he has a pretty good number of videos, I'd say. I can't recall how many it is offhand, but these videos are pretty entertaining, and he's got a pretty interesting music choice for them. It's definitely something worth checking out. So if you have never seen any of his videos, definitely go check them out. Oh, also, if you can hear any background noise, I'm sorry about that, because I'm not in my usual area for recording. I'm actually at my girlfriend's place. She's not feeling too well, and I had to go an hour away and make sure she's doing okay. So I'm being the good boyfriend and taking care of her and all that. So I really can't control all of the noise around the apartment, but sorry if you can hear anything. So let's see, what was I talking about? I was talking about his videos, he's got a really interesting taste in music. It's not interesting in a bad way, it's interesting in a good way. Now, the one thing I am a little upset about, he doesn't have enough Dark Souls videos. He's got, I think it's some Halo videos and stuff, and then just some random other stuff. I think a little bit of Skyrim, maybe? I don't know. I know he's got some Halo stuff, though. Either way, he needs more Dark Souls videos, in my opinion, but he is definitely a good player, definitely very skilled, and is someone you really can't take lightly, especially if you run into him in a random invasion. He definitely knows how to handle himself and definitely did a good job of kicking my ass throughout this video and throughout all the times we've played, really. I mean, yeah, that first video that he's got on his channel of his practice with me, that was really bad on my part because, I mean, it was after me not playing for a whole month, essentially, but still, it was bad. You could tell I was playing less skillfully than I typically do, so it was probably more of what would be encountered through a random invasion, really. I mean, I'd like to consider myself slightly, maybe a little bit slightly above average. I'm fairly decent at the game, so if I'm decent, fairly decent, and there are people who are worse, people who are better, of course, that's just the way it is. But I was playing more like I was, I don't know, more like I was new to the game, it seems. That's how I really think I was doing when I was playing against him then, and it was just so bad, in my opinion, how bad I was doing. He did a really good job, and he can really handle himself well, and that really shows it. So, I don't know. It's definitely a good video to check out, though, if you want to ever see me, you know, get my ass handed to me. Because I'm pretty sure it was a good 10 minutes of me just straight losing. I think actually Martyrs commented on it, commenting to me about it, saying, "Did you even win a fight in this?" And I honestly can't remember if I did. So, it was pretty bad on my part. Also, though, like I was saying, his fights for this video, this recording session that we had, his fights didn't record, so that is definitely going to be our excuse for having to have a rematch. Because it seems there always needs to be an excuse for a rematch. It just has to be that way. Now, this fight right here, some of you probably have seen it already. Due to the fact that I was having issues with adding in my commentary to the video, I decided that I might as well just take this one little clip out and upload that ahead of time as a part of the Sunlight Blade's top 10 dual-wielding kills. So yes, I'm sorry if I ruined the ending of this fight for those who have not seen it, but at this point the fight's already over, so oh well. Oh well, now you guys know how it ends. So that was my little submission to the top 10 dual-wielding kills. Hopefully that does well. That video is not out yet, so we will see. Now, right here with the great bow, I don't know why I decided to use this. I don't know, I was just sort of going through all of my inventory and picking out random strange combinations. It was just something I'd been in the mood to do, and I guess I decided to use a great bow. Didn't really work out too well because, I mean, as is standard with a bow, you don't really want to use it against someone with a rapier. And right there, the reason I was parry spamming is because when I first got hit by his claymore and it stunned me, I started parry spamming then. And then my controller had some incredible input delay, and then the parries came then. I couldn't move until after that either, so I don't know what happened with that. I actually ended up changing my batteries right after that because it was really, really low, so I think that might have had something to do with it. But, oh well, it started to cooperate a bit more after that. Now, the Life Hunt Scythe. I have actually been using that a bit more recently due to the fact that I've been using it with my weapon switching. I've been switching to it and switching off of it, and it can really take people off guard, I've noticed, especially when you have, say, a Zweihander, and then suddenly you switch to Broadsword and then switch back to a Life Hunt Scythe and chase them down. They don't expect a wide sweeping attack from a running attack when before it was just an overhead smackdown. So it can really take people off guard, and it's a very easy weapon to use, unfortunately. I mean, it is and it isn't at the same time. I don't really know the right way to describe using a life hunt scythe or using a scythe, because there's just so many. Well, there's two different ways you can use them. You can do a lot of running attacks and a lot of R2s, just aiming to bleed them out. You can dead angle with almost every single attack that this weapon has, or that weapon has, so it can really be very dangerous. I mean, I'm not that great with the weapon, but even I can dead angle with it, and it's just ridiculous. Now, I don't like to dead angle very often, just due to the fact that it's a glitch and I don't necessarily like to exploit that, but, I mean, it's in the game. I don't know. Dead angling is one thing of all glitches, I don't really have a problem with, for the most part, unless it's a dead angled Wrath of the Gods, or Dragon Roar, because they're meant to push you away. No matter what, those are meant to push you away. But, dead angled scythe, I mean, that's a really wide swing. Chances are it'll just swing through you and it'll look like they're hitting you with it anyway, so that's one thing I don't have that much of a problem doing some dead angles. Things that I do have a problem that do dead angles would be things like, well, not really anything in particular, just more of a situation, like when it's something that would just barely touch your shield, and that dead angles you, that bothers me. Because, I mean, if it just barely touches your shield, it shouldn't hit you because it's just barely touching your shield. That's just my opinion on it, and I'm actually curious to see if they're going to be in Dark Souls 2, now that it's got that different engine. I'm assuming that it wouldn't, just because of that one video where it shows all the detail of the person running through the middle of a bunch of knights or whatever, and one of their spears, I think it is, glances off of his sword as he's running. I don't know if that's just a little... I don't even know what that really is. I don't know if that's just a cinematic trailer-y thing that they've got going for it, or if that's going to be something that's going to be actually implemented in the game. I can't recall off the top of my head what it was, but it should be interesting. If it's got that level of detail in the game, I am definitely curious how it's going to affect PvP. So, hopefully it's a good thing and not a bad, because, I mean, with latency and all, there is definitely a lot going on that could be changed. And in the beginning of this fight, I'm not sure why he didn't take the parry. I've said it a million times, if you're gonna go and get a parry, then you might as well take the riposte, because I'm not gonna go easy. I won't return the favor. But that 900 and some odd damage I got on that jumping attack, that is impressive. I mean, we all know that these are very dangerous weapons, the Black Knight weapons, but you don't really see them too often, and that's mostly because of this, well, because they got nerfed, and because of the fact that their R2s are very difficult to hit with. But if you really think about it, they are very damaging weapons, and I'm kind of a little bit upset that they're not used more often, because they're so good. I mean, 900 some odd damage with a jumping attack. Yes, he was rolling, and I did get him in his instability frames, so that did do 40% more damage. So it was what, 969 maybe, 968. So that without 40% on it, it's lower, but it's still a significant hit and very, very powerful. So going on from here, what else can I talk about? Just sort of talked and had really no focus throughout this entire video. You know, these videos, they're really kind of hard to talk about for a long time. I mean, the really long ones, that is. And I think this is actually the longest video I've ever uploaded. So, I'm kind of struggling right here, guys. I really am. If I start to repeat myself, I am really sorry. You could just mute me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not good at talking for these long videos, I guess. Even after all this time, most of my videos don't go past the 20-minute mark, and I actually didn't have anything in mind to talk about for this video, so that's really kind of why I'm struggling. I'm sure a lot of you other uploaders will know exactly how I'm feeling, because it's just the way it is. But right there, that back step that I got, that back step where I took advantage of the invincibility frames, that is really hard to do. I am actually very surprised I got that, and we actually both did it a fair number of times throughout this video. I got it, I think, once or twice. I think he got it also once or twice. I don't remember exactly how many times we each got it, but we both got it. And it always looks so impressive and so sort of casually done, but it's not. It's so much more tempting to just roll backwards than it is to actually do the back step. But when you do the back step, you can follow it up with the jumping forward attack, or the running forward attack, or whatever it is. Right there, he got one, and I got a parry off of it, so that was lucky on my end. But, you know, it's really hard to actually pull off that attack, or that dodge. I mean, for those who actually can pull it off successfully, reliably, all the time, then you are definitely on a higher level of PvP than I am. And right here, actually, I was trying to poison him again, because he already had Toxin, but I wanted to poison him too, and I ended up killing him in the meantime. Oops. Now, the club, I don't like this weapon. I don't know why I decided to use this weapon. I am bad with this weapon. Its jumping attack, I liked it a little bit when I was starting to use it, but man, it gets me into so much trouble. It's just bad. And the reason that this fight is so sort of just anticlimactic, really, it's just sort of boring. We were just talking and not really paying attention for the most part. I mean, I was just sort of going, okay, whatever, no big deal, just sort of autopiloting. And you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a difference between actually focusing on what you're doing when you play and just sort of playing, you know? Like when you're trying to learn how to do something, you focus on what you're doing more, and when you're just doing it, then you just sort of, you know, do it. So later on in the fight, later on in the video rather, I eventually decided that I wasn't paying enough attention, so I decided to go with zero poise. Now, for those who are not familiar with playing without any poise, it means you get stun locked by everything, you can get stunned by everything, and it's not a good situation for the most part. That's why the majority of players have poise. That's why the average is 53 poise. And that's why a lot of the more advanced players will try and play without poise. Not to say I'm one of the more advanced ones, I just like trying stupid things. So, it actually went fairly well when I did go down to zero poise. I don't think I actually lost any of the fights, and I think he was actually feeling a little bit bad for stunning me when I didn't have poise, because it was just so easy for him to do. I mean, I don't know. Oh, and right there, actually, how I hit him from so far away as he was rolling, I actually aimed for his instability frame in the roll, which is something I learned to do from Elite. He did that to me quite a few times, along with punishing me for every other thing that I could think of to do, like a wake-up attack. He would always end up punishing that with something, or any bit of R1 spam or anything. He would always, without fail, punish me somehow, even punishing my rolling. He is just ridiculous. He hasn't been on Dark Souls very much recently, though, from what I've seen, and I really want to get some more fights in with him. So, hey, Elite, if you're watching this, please, I want to get some more fights in. I need some practice, especially with my weapon switching, because I know you're the type of player, and I actually like this type of player for anyone else. I like the type of player who actually will stay on you and won't allow you to do weapon switches. It makes it really hard to do, and there aren't enough people who actually play like that. Another player who's really good at doing that is Ferris DKS. For those who are not familiar with his channel, definitely go check him out. He's got some great commentary. I mean, it's fantastic stuff, and just really high quality all around. He really, in my opinion, deserves a bit more subscribers than he's got. But he is definitely very good commentary, very cool, relaxed person. So check out his channel. But we're not talking about Ferris. He's going to be in my next Battle of the Uploaders. That's already all recorded too, actually. So I'll probably end up doing the commentary on that video in half an hour or so once I'm done with this one and a couple others in between. So, oh boy, it's going to be a lot of talking for me today. I don't know why I keep doing this. I always have. I just get into the habit of recording and not doing commentary, although in this case I had a technical difficulty, but I do it anyways. I just keep recording and occasionally not doing the commentary. And then it all builds up, and then I have to go through it all in like one day, and it's just ridiculous. It's just bad. It's a good way to spend the day, though, and it's definitely entertaining. Now, what I'm trying to do right here, I'm trying to do a reverse roll. A reverse roll? I think I had a little bit of a lisp right then. I'm trying to do a reverse roll, well, around here sometime, and it just doesn't end up working. I think it's actually right around here when I start to do it. Yeah, it's right around here, I think. It doesn't work, though. I'm not good at... Yep, there we go. There's my failure to do a reverse roll. I'm not good at doing it unless I, like, take a moment to stop moving and actually think about what I'm doing. I'm not like some of these, like, really advanced players that can just sort of do it on command and do it all the time instead of a normal roll, and that's another thing that Elite can do. He can reverse roll without fail all the time, it seems. I don't know. It just seems to be really difficult for me, and I just can't get used to it. I can do it fine in PvE. I can do ring switching fine in PvE, for that matter. But I can't do a reverse roll in PvP, or ring switching. I can do some basic weapon switching, but that's easy, in my opinion, compared to ring switching. And that's strange, actually, that I find ring switching harder in PvP than it is in PvE. Because in PvP, you have the latency to work with you. But in PvP, or PvE, rather, you don't. So, in theory, it should be easier the other way around, but I don't know. I think the reason I have issues with it in PvP is because I get so excited and so satisfied and happy whenever I get a parry, I just don't think to switch my rings, or switch weapons, or do a burrito combo for that matter. I just, oh, hey, I got a parry, and then press R1 right away as soon as I can to get it. Even if I'm out of position for it, I don't think. So that's one thing I really need to work on. It's gotten me into more trouble than I'd like to admit, and it's cost me a few matches probably. Actually, I'm sure that it's cost me more than a few matches. So it's one thing I really need to pay attention to. And for that matter, it's one thing that everyone should really pay attention to. You gotta stop and think before you act. And that's not for just Dark Souls, that's for life. You gotta think before you act, think before you speak, because if you don't, then you're gonna do something or say something really stupid. And I've been known to do that. I've been known to completely just forget about things. Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll remember this, or oh yeah, sure, I'll do that, and then just whoop, not even in my mind anymore. Completely forgotten. Now, he's got this little cosplay roleplay like build thing he's got going on, and man, he is good with it. That parrying dagger, I really don't fight people who use those very much, and it gets me into trouble, because when I'm not fighting a person who uses a dagger, a parrying dagger, I get used to the fact that, well, I don't get used to its parry timing. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not used to its parry timing. I don't know when I can attack, what time is safe, what time is bad. So it gets me into some trouble. I think I actually end up turning this fight in particular around, so that worked out very well for me. I was quite happy with that. But, man, that parrying dagger, it can really... If you're an R1 spammer and someone's got a parrying dagger, you are in trouble, because you just walk right up to them, they take a few hits, and then they parry you without a problem, because they could just sit there and spam it. And it's got such a wide parry window, it's just insane. So, oh well. He doesn't spam it, that's one thing I do need to clarify. What he was doing definitely was not spamming it by any means. I don't want anyone to think that I was saying he was. But you probably know the type of player I'm talking about. The person who will run up to you with a parrying dagger and start spamming it. And you're wondering, what the hell are you doing, dude? That's just, what are you doing? Now, right there, I got lucky. The parrying dagger, again, he's got that timing down. He really does. And it's scary. Now, right here, I got him with a little bit of a unlocked Zweihander swing. A little bit lucky on that. Got him in a roll, too, for almost 700 damage. Now, hitting someone with a Zweihander while they're rolling, it's actually not too hard to do, especially when they're rolling in circles around you instead of trying to roll in and out. You can really do it very easily. Same goes for the Murakumo, or if they're backing away and you're using the Murakumo, you can actually do a running attack and chase them down or something. It works very well. Now, right there, he switched off from his parrying dagger to the Painting Guardian sword and did a good job with getting a parry on me that time. And actually, right here, I'm going with 0 poise. This is the first fight, and This was a very, very lucky fight for me. I was quite happy with this. Just boom. Done. Done. And of course, after a move like that, you have to do the well, what is it gesture. You just have to do it. And I mean, it's not that I'm saying I'm so great or anything. He nearly killed me and it was all luck on my part. But man, after something like that, you really need to do that gesture. Now right there, I actually had expected it to stun him. He's got a lot of poise. I didn't really realize it at any point in the video up till this one. He's got a lot of poise. And, I mean, a two-handed R2 from his Y-hander didn't stun him. That's a lot. So, I really need to pay attention and realize when someone's got a lot of poise. I mean, he doesn't have all the telltale signs of it, like Havel's armor and such, or Giant's armor, so I wasn't really expecting it. But from that point on, I kind of started paying a bit more attention, and we actually started to have a little bit of lag from that point on, so that was unfortunate, but it wasn't too difficult. And I got a nice little parry still, so no complaints from me. Alright, so playing with zero poise, the reason I like to do it, especially in a battle of the uploaders, it kind of forces me to pay more attention to what's going on as far as what they're doing, what I'm doing, and any little patterns that they've got. So that's one reason why I like zero poise for a situation like this. Now, for random invasions, I also like it too, just because it's a good way to get used to it. You get to learn how to counter against different sorts of things and all that. So it's definitely something helpful to learn how to do, and just sort of helpful and fun to actually just mess around with. So there are 2 fights left, counting this one, and I really don't know what else to say, so I think I'm just going to leave here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely go check out his channel. He has some pretty great videos, good taste in music and all that. And I don't have anything else to say, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.